Boom! All right, here we go. Grand Training Systems, welcome back. Today's topic from the Unbreakable Body membership is shoulder pain. Why we lose our mobility, what we can do to get it back, and why life is not very supportive in allowing us to express this full range of motion. All right, 3 minutes or less, let's discuss what's going on with the shoulder pain. Very easy, actually. When we're driving, when we're typing, when we're riding, when we're eating, when we're giving our loved one a massage, you get the idea. My shoulders are not moving. Boys and girls, if we don't use it, we lose it. And that's the same thing with mobility. And you've heard me say 1,000 times, you're not supposed to sit for more than 30 minutes a day. You're supposed to change your position every 2 minutes, and that 30 minutes should be on the floor in which you're sitting, if that makes sense. Either way, we're losing this range of motion in our entire body. So if we're not expressing this nice full range of motion in flexion, if we're not going into extension, if we're not, giving big people's hugs, and we're not just using our shoulders, we're gonna lose this range of motion. And as I like to say, we kind of get this parking brake effect. Yeah, if you get in your car and you drive from point A to point B and you forget to put your parking brake down, that is a disaster. But by putting the parking brake down, there's no disaster. Same thing with our body. We got all these little parking brakes going on, and then because we've been doing nothing really all day out of a different range of motion, and then we go to the gym and we start doing all this stuff all over the place, and we wonder why our shoulder starts getting smoked. Well, that's because of this parking brake analogy. So let's add this movement, mobility, stretching formula. Let's go through these next 3 tips. Let's open this up and really, if anything, say put the parking brakes down so our shoulders can start to express more range of motion, and then we don't have to do anything about the pain because it never comes. All right, scalp dip. Can we move our scapulas without anything else? That's important because the screw home mechanism of the shoulder, we need that deep rotation and that scooping mechanism of the scapula, if you will. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get just like this on you don't have to use a table, you can use anything you want. You can even do it at the gym, at the dip bar if you're able to, or just find a table or a couch that's just comfortable. From here, I'm gonna not do a tricep dip, but I'm gonna keep my elbows soft so I'm not completely locked out, and I'm gonna see if I can just raise from my shoulders. So it's kind of like a reverse shrug. But you're gonna notice as you come down, you get a nice little tight squeeze in this muscle right there because your shoulder blades are scooping under. This is gonna be very important because if we cannot control our scapula, we can't control our shoulder. If we can't control our shoulder, then it's gonna start to hurt and it's gonna be bananas and go crazy. It's like a kid. If you can't control your kid goes crazy, you go crazy. So control your kid, he doesn't go crazy, you don't go crazy. Same thing with your shoulders. So you can see, I'm continuing to go. Try this motion. You might notice that you're bending at the elbows because you can't isolate this movement. If you can't, no worries. The bigger the disaster, the better, because now we know why your shoulder's all jacked up because you're not able to do a very important movement. And I promise you, by practicing it, you are going to be able to get it very quickly. All right, so now we need a tennis ball. Feel free to use a lacrosse ball, but start with a tennis ball because when the tennis ball, full of air, pushes against the wall, pushes against your body, it then pushes back with that pneumatic pressure, and it really specializes the exercise and makes it very individual to your exact shoulder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the tennis ball right there. And instead of just rolling back and forth in big sweeping movements, what I want to do is I wanna hold my arm like it's in a cast. We say Gips auf Deutsch. Cast in German. And what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna move slowly in small increments because I wanna find some areas that are a little bit painful, and I'm probably gonna find a few. And when I find a few, I don't wanna just sweep across them. I wanna take some time, I wanna breathe, and I wanna allow them to relax. Now, the rotator cuff, the muscle that holds our shoulder into our body, if you will, is going to be working the entire time when we're like this. So by holding your arm into a cast, what do? You relax the rotator cuff because now your rotator cuff does not have to work. So by relaxing it, it gets to work more? That would be the exact opposite. It gets to relax so the tennis ball can work more. Now the second piece is going to be, this is gonna be a fun one here. We're gonna put it right here. See if you can see it within that camera angle. And what I'm gonna do now is again, hold the arm and I'm just gonna kind of start searching in different areas, usually right kind of under your shoulder bone, if you will. Your acromion process if you want to be all fancy about it, and see what I can find. And you might realize you find some pretty fancy little spots that don't feel so nice. Now, as the ball starts falling down, you don't need to go all the way down, just stand back up, Work it again from here and just try to release the spots. Remember to hold the arm, remember to breathe, and what you will realize is after you're done, it feels a bit funny, but then when you try to raise your arm, those parking brakes I spoke about in a lot of other videos that are up in your shoulder because we're just not moving enough, get set down and the movement is much easier. Movement's easier, pain doesn't come, you're a happy person. All right, so I like to call this the shopping line stretch actually. And what I mean by that is it's translated to like 5 different languages. I can say in Arabic, German, and English, so I call it the shopping line. And what that means is you can do this while you're shopping. At first, people are gonna think you're crazy. Trust me, nobody will notice. I do it all the time. What I wanna do is I wanna take my hand and I wanna stick it behind my back like this. Now, you can see the other camera up here, or the other angle, the other film, whatever you wanna say, what I'm doing as it's behind my back. And all I am doing in the front end is I'm playing a little bit with my shoulder. You can see in the other camera how I start playing with my hand a little bit. And from here, what I'm able to do is just find different tight spots. Ironically, or actually very cool, if you do this, maybe two people do notice in the line, but if you start to move your neck, you start to feel that you get this fascial stretch all the way from one part of your neck, sometimes all the way down to your fingers. But if you don't want to do that in the line, I get it, that's totally fine. Just keep playing with the position with your shoulder like this. If you have a jacket on, like wintertime, because I live in Germany, it will definitely not be noticeable because my jacket looks like a goddamn marshmallow, and or maybe I look like a marshmallow. And so from here, you can just start kind of opening it up. And what is interesting is then, when you bring your next arm up, is your range of motion similar? Now, I will show you, actually I'm just gonna turn around right now. If your arm is here, I am not surprised when you have massive shoulder pain. If you get a little bit higher, I would just say about to there, you will start to notice that your shoulder pain disappears. However, I don't want your elbow out like this. Your elbow should be in line with your spine, if you will, in the same plane of movement, if you wanna call it that. And what we wanna do is 1, compare both sides, 2, see how it feels, and 3, see if we start kind of feeling like we're able to move our shoulders a little bit more after that. And a little disclaimer, because our shoulder is more capsule than really anything else, sometimes when we do these things, we have this trampoline effect. It gets a little bit worse before it gets better. So like a trampoline, you go down, then you go higher up. Same thing. So if you get a bit of a sore shoulder, slow down a bit, calm down, all is good, everything's okay, eat some ginger, have some fun, take your wife to a movie, whatever, I don't know. But that's normal. Just slow down a little bit and understand that in the long process, in the long run, if things are feeling better, then that's the direction that we want to go.